Good morning. Now that everyone is seated, I'm going to ask you to please rise for the presentation of the colors, followed by our national anthem. Thank you, and please be seated. We want to thank our honor guard for that presentation and welcome all of you to the University of Massachusetts, Boston, your public urban research university. My name is Ed Lambert. It's a pleasure and a privilege for me to welcome all of you here today, all of our friends and family, Mrs. Quinn and her family, our colleagues, our elected officials, community and business leaders and neighbors, family and friends all. Thank you very much and welcome here to this campus, your campus. Even those people who visit this campus most frequently remark every time they come as to how the campus continues to transform itself, that there is something new that they see here every time they visit. Maybe it's a crane, maybe it's a new traffic sign, whatever that might be, they see this sign of growth and continued progress here at the university. And that visual symbolism of growth is also matched with significant expansion of programs and opportunities for students. Our new Honors College, our new School for the Environment, the new School of Global Inclusion, so many ways in which this campus tries to be true to the roots of its history, and we know that those roots go back 50 years. To the dream of Robert Quinn and others, the vision that they had, that students in Boston and the surrounding areas needed greater access to high-quality higher education. And it is rooted in that dream and vision that all of this progress takes place. This campus was a home away from home for Bob Quinn. It was a place where he was incredibly comfortable, whether it be here in this campus center, speaking to students in the faculty lounges, talking to alumni, or campus administrators and staff in the building for which he is named. This was a place where he was comfortable, and we know that it's in that spirit that he is here with us today, and that he will continue to be here with us in future years in the work that takes place. Over the course of the last 50 years, he has watched that dream come to reality, and it is our privilege to embrace his spirit here today. It's also with his model and example of community service that this campus continues to strive under the leadership of our great Chancellor, Keith Motley, to impact the community in positive ways. We recently hosted 24 young men from the Prospect Hill Academy here for an Opportunity Day. We've had our Heroes and Helpers program recently, where we pair children in surrounding neighborhoods with some of our police officers and send them out into the shopping malls for a holiday shopping spree. We recently hosted an annual YMCA African American Network Regional Conference where we had over 200 participants. And on April 2nd, we invite you all back here in this very spot where our Community Engaged Partnership Symposium will speak very specifically to the hundreds of partnerships that we have with the neighborhoods that surround this campus. It is, as was envisioned by Bob Quinn and others, that we provide not only high-quality education, but that we be good neighbors and we reach out to our community. So this community breakfast is something very important to us, and it continues a great 28-year tradition. And honoring those who have followed in Bob Quinn's footsteps is also something we think it's very important to do because they inspire us. And so it is my great pleasure to bring forward someone who needs no introduction on this campus and in the neighborhoods surrounding this campus, who has been running community relations here for quite some time and who with her staff has helped put together this great event, Gail Hoban.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. I also want to welcome Ed Lampert to our UMass Boston family, heads up government relations, and under him, the Community Relations Department. So thank you, Ed. Well, it's great to see so many familiar faces and to welcome new friends. This is the 28th annual community breakfast, and we have been honoring Bob Quinn with the Robert H. Quinn Award for Outstanding Community Leadership. The initial community breakfast proposal was made in 1986, and the purpose of the breakfast was to bring together on campus community leaders, organizations, businesses, and other neighborhood institutions. The main objective was to honor Bob Quinn, originally a Dorchester resident and co-sponsor of the legislation that created University of Massachusetts, Boston, and this is the best way that we can honor him. The nomination process has grown. Nominations include so many wonderful people working tirelessly to build better communities, committed to giving back, people just like all of you here today. I'd like to take a moment to recognize some of our previous recipients. Could you please stand? Thank you again for coming to the breakfast this morning, and thanks especially to Bob Quinn for his belief in higher education and his commitment to this community. Thank you.
Gail, thank you very much. Our Chancellor, Keith Motley, believes very, very strongly that we all have a responsibility, staff, students, faculty, and others, to effectuate the dream that Bob Quinn and others had. And so he calls us to that service, and we are all grateful for his leadership. Before I bring him up to take the program from here, we would like to present a video tribute to Mr. Robert Quinn.
My dad, George V. Keneally Jr., and Robert Henry Quinn, Bob Quinn, loved this university. This is the capstone of their careers.
He was a political icon in Dorchester. Ran for state representative, served 10 years, and then in the 11th year, his colleagues chose him to be the Speaker of the House. Extraordinary amount of time that he spent there to be chosen by your colleagues, which told them that he was a very bright guy.
He was bigger than life, there's no question. He was out campaigning, and I'm not sure how we struck up a conversation. I mean, I was a kid, but what I do remember is that that campaign, and for many campaigns after that, I was one of the Quinn sign holders, and we actually got paid, a couple of my friends and I, for holding signs. We got lollipops.
Bob Quinn and I represented the same House district. Bob Quinn was one of the greatest supporters of educational access. Bob Quinn sponsored the legislation that created UMass Boston in the 1960s. And he was pivotal in bringing the campus to Columbia Point in 1974.
And the UMass Board of Trustees were dragging their feet, taking their time picking a place. And my father, as Speaker of the House, gave them an ultimatum. If you don't pick a place, I've got a place. They didn't pick in the time, and he said it's going to be at Columbia Point.
I never saw Bob Quinn that he wasn't wearing a UMass pin.
And he would say, you know, if I had it to do over again, if I was a kid in this day and age, I would be going to UMass, but UMass Boston. And he would do that with his finger. Every time he would say that this is where he would be, because he was the kid that this school is built for.
He never lost his love for Dorchester and for politics. So his career in politics, being a state representative, going on to become the Speaker of the House, and go on to become the Attorney General, his life was of service.
We still have an Assistant Attorney General here who worked under him, who, when talking about Bob Quinn, said what a great, caring person he was, what a terrific lawyer, cared about what was happening with his staff and on the issues also. And that was very consistent with how I found him to be.
The Quinn Bill gives officers that want to pursue higher education the incentive to do so. Those officers will then attend college and better themselves and our great department and the city of Boston. So it's a great incentive for officers that want to advance their careers.
It's an honor for me to walk into his building every day because it reminds me of what the responsibility is to lead such a magnificent university.
In his speech, he co-opted a line from Rupert Brooks's poem, The Soldier. And he said, if I should die, think this of me, that there's a small corner of the world that shall always be Quinn. It's right here at UMass Boston.
Mr. Quinn, we are pleased to present the 2012 Robert H. Quinn Award for Outstanding Community Leadership. When I think about naming any kind of award for someone like Mr. Quinn, having community service, community engagement, community building connected to his legacy just makes the most sense.
This is a wonderful tribute. This is the university becoming a participant in the community, and it's exactly what we had in mind.
I believe that his legacy will live on in all of our lives, all of us who have been Quinn Award recipients. It was definitely an honor, especially having the opportunity to get to meet with him and speak personally and to hear some of his life story.
I said, me? I mean, I'm not Bob Quinn. I mean, what he's done for this community is exemplary. And they said, well, you're the first one. So how do I feel to be always forever linked with Bob, with my name on a plaque on my wall in my office? Unmatchable.
For me, the legacy that Bob Quinn leaves is one of the personal touch, the caring about individual people.
He always cheered for the underdog, and that's what we loved about Bob.
Bob Quinn's legacy. I'm here. It's the alumni. It's the people who come to school here and have an opportunity to get a world-class education. And his legacy is that that opportunity is available to every resident of the city of Boston, every resident of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
Good morning, good morning. How are you this morning? I tell you, I am just so moved by that presentation. I know I was supposed to be up here already, ready to go. I was supposed to jump up after the video and say, wow, wasn't that nice? I just wanted to see it from my seat and sitting next to his lovely bride this morning. And so I'm so grateful to have the opportunity to just have witnessed that, but also to say good morning to you. Good morning. Good morning. What a beautiful day out on this peninsula. Oh my goodness, I hope you were stuck in traffic. I hope you had some wow moments. Wow, what are they up to now? We were so sad the day that the iron started coming in, because then the secret would be out. That this is a dump no more. That this place that this great man and his colleagues, and he always knew he had partners. They had a vision for this spot. And now generations will not even know that there was a dump here. Because when they walk out here, all they'll see is a world-class institution called the University of Massachusetts, Boston, that will never turn its back on this city, on its community, that will never forget that excellence and access go together, that will never forget who they are. And I'm so proud every day to serve as its chancellor. What a beautiful day out here on this peninsula. I hope that this short video adequately represented the measure of our fondness, the measure of our gratitude to our dear friend, and a person who just spent so much time cultivating relationships, cultivating support for this great university, our dear friend, Mr. Robert Quinn. Thank you to each of you who have joined us today. I know it wasn't easy. Little bit of snow now coming into Boston area. We're starting to act like we live out in the Midwest or something, that we've never seen snow and ice before. But you know better than that. You knew that you should show up this morning because it was a special day out at your university. You wanted to be part of that. Today we honor and we remember Mr. Quinn, and to honor his legacy by recognizing those in our community who embody his values of service and his values of leadership. I'd also like to recognize that unbelievable University of Massachusetts Boston honor guard that came up here. I get so jealous when I see those uniforms. They look good in those uniforms. Those uniforms, I don't know, Chief, those uniforms look good. They were pressed and looking like the best up in here, right? Unbelievable. Claudina Quinn, thank you. Thank you so much. We're honored that you have joined us today. You know, every one of these, I would always mess with your husband by letting everybody know how beautiful you look today, and that has not changed. You look beautiful today. And he would just come up here and he would nudge me. He's kicking me now. Here he goes again. But we're honored to have you. The University of Massachusetts Boston considers you family. You know that. And it's always wonderful to see all of our family. Thank you for continuing this tradition of being here with us. We have lots of folks here today. All of you are unbelievably special to us. You know, I want to point out a few of them. I'll start with my man, Father George, over here, who's got his arms folded, looking at me, telling me to be brief. I know I can hear him now. Son, be a little brief. I see one of our state representatives sitting down. Nick, thank you for being here, always being here. Nick Collins, Kevin Honan. Kevin Honan is going to be here. I know that Russell Holmes is here. I also know that our newly elected representative, Dan Hunt. I also know that we also have Councilor Frank Baker. Frank, I didn't even see you this morning. Where you at, man? Okay, well, I know Councilor Baker is here. And I also know that our Senator, Linda Dorsina Forey, is here. Now, I heard you sort of warmed up last week at the Boys and Girls Club event in South Boston. You know, we have a little moment that's going to be happening in a few. She's going to be over there hosting the St. Patrick's Day breakfast. I'm going to be marching in the Naples St. Patrick's Day, leading that with my family in my top hat, in all my green splendor, my bow tie, and my beads, coming down Fifth Avenue, prancing. It's an unbelievable sight. 10 years ago, I think people thought it was an unbelievable sight. Now they expect it, and I'm so grateful to know that you'll be journeying into that same sphere and have fun. Enjoy yourself, do a great job. We're so grateful to have you. I also know that Dan Cullinane is here. Thank you for being here as well. The sheriff is up in here this morning. Steve Tompkins is up in here this morning. And I also know that the acting director, or we're going to say director of our University of Massachusetts Building Authority, all those buildings you see going up, our building authority has something to do with that. Patricia, I know you're here somewhere this morning. Listen, thank you. Stand up so we can see you. That is what someone looks like who understands that building things out at a great university matters. So thank you for being here this morning. We're so grateful to see you this morning. I also want to welcome all of our friends, neighbors, and colleagues. Mr. Quinn's friends, his family, neighbors, and colleagues, Andrew Tarsi, who's here, Tom Putnam, my man Jim Brett is here this morning. Has a chair named for him in our School of Inclusion. Josh Kraft, who leads the Boys and Girls Club. James T. Morris, Father Jack Ahern, and the first guy to come over here in Dorchester, who was another big guy who happens to be handsome, who's now the chief, superintendent and chief of our police, William Gross is here as well. And I finally want to recognize more family. Denise Keneally, class of 1977, member of our Board of Visitors and daughter of the late State Representative and Senator George V. Keneally, who worked very closely with Mr. Quinn to establish this university. Thank you for being here this morning. Where's Denise at? Stand up so we can see you. Thank you. Mr. Quinn reminded me every time I saw him that there was a partnership. He reminded me of that. And so I'm so grateful that he educated me that way from the very beginning. I didn't have to learn that. No one had to walk up and pinch me to tell me that. So we honor your family today. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, both families have an amazing legacy of service, and we do our best here at the university every day to live up to that legacy. I also want to thank all of my colleagues from the University of Massachusetts Boston that are here, the vice chancellors, the staff, the faculty, the students, anyone who snuck in because it was a breakfast. Thank you for being here as well. We're grateful. We do our best every day to live up to the legacy that many of you in this room live every day, and that of Mr. Quinn. So thank you for coming out this morning and be a part of what we do. Now, 50 years ago this June, Mr. Quinn was among the state legislators who passed a bill, very smart state legislators, Nick and others, and Senator. They established a bill establishing the University of Massachusetts Boston, based on the wild idea that he had as a state representative, that there ought to be a place where students from Boston and beyond would be able to access opportunities that were not available at the time to young people from the backgrounds like his. He understood that it wouldn't have been easy for him to go on to college. had there not been lots of people pushing and lots of opportunity. And he wanted to have a lot of opportunity right in the neighborhood for those young people who came from here. I'm gratified and I'm proud that he was able to see the university he helped found mark this milestone anniversary, fulfilling and expanding upon his vision to provide our students with, in his words, a foothold toward achieving the American dream. Now, in everything that we do, in everything that we've done over the last 50 years, and in each of our plans for the next 50, there is a reflection of Mr. Quinn's dreams for our campus and his dreams for our students. We in the university community are honored to have the opportunity to carry out the mission that he gave us. I say in the video that I think about Mr. Quinn every single day that I walk into the administrative building on campus that bears his name. And I do, but I also think about him because he stood on this rostrum just a few years ago with a guy who wanted to be the chancellor of this university. And he told that guy, don't you worry, within 18 months to 2 years, you'll be standing here again as chancellor. That guy didn't believe him. And within 18 months to 2 years, he was standing here again as chancellor, talking about vision and reading into the future. So when I walk into that building, I think about him every day. I think about him because it's the first time I ever saw Gail come up on the stage for an event like this, because she likes to be behind the back scenes. But for Mr. Quinn, she was up on the stage today making this presentation. I think about him because all you have to do is mention Mr. Quinn on this campus, and folk go to work, building appropriate buildings, teaching their faces off in class, doing all the things because they understood that commitment. And I do as well. It's not just the one building that bears his name, but the entire campus that bears his philosophy, his vision, his imprint. We are entirely cognizant of how much we owe to all of those legacies and how great our responsibility is to live up to Mr. Quinn's legacy. Today's, oh yes, go ahead. So today's awards are one way that we do so. The winners of the Chancellor's Award for Long-Standing Community Commitment and Service and the Robert H. Quinn Award for Outstanding Community Leadership this year and every year are those in our community who work tirelessly to provide others, often young people, with access and with opportunity. It's nice to see his grandchildren fighting to be at the front table, sitting on laps here for their granddaddy. That's what he was all about, young people, access and opportunity. He also was working for those who give of themselves to serve their neighbors, who use their leadership, innovation, and old-fashioned hard work to improve lives for their communities. This year's awardees are two people with extraordinarily full lives who've touched thousands of hearts across our community. They truly embody the values that both Mr. Quinn and our institution, our university, held and hold dear. To help present the Robert H. Quinn Award for Outstanding Community Leadership, I'd like to invite Mrs. Quinn up here to join me. Now, she backed her husband, but she stood beside her husband through a long political career. She is an advocate for compassion and service in her own right, and she has joined us to show her support of the inspirational and amazing awardees we're honoring today. She and her family, her children, her grandchildren are as much a part of this campus as her husband was and is. With her help and her family's help and support, this award ceremony will always carry their name and will always honor those in the community who are walking in Mr. Quinn's shoes. Mrs. Quinn, please accept this token of appreciation from us.
My mom was a florist.
Okay, her mom was a florist. So she has an affinity for those flowers. Accept those as a token of our love, our gratitude for you. Now, our Quinn Award winner this year is part dancer, part artist, part choreographer, part teacher, part social worker, part minister, part coach, and all heart. Sophia Haynes Caldwell. Sophia Haynes Caldwell, guided by your belief that art and culture are integral to children's education, passionate about providing young people outlets for self-expression, and driven by love for your community, you have been a mentor to thousands. As the founder and the executive director of Stage's Cultural Arts Center in Randolph, and the founding director of the Blue Hill Boys and Girls Club Performing Arts Program, you have taught children to perform jazz, ballet, contemporary, tap, African, liturgical, and hip-hop dance for years. You've also taught them qualities they can perform off stage: selflessness, compassion, self-esteem, courage, discipline, and caring. Through your programs for families in difficult financial circumstances, including those who are homeless and underserved, you have brought the arts to children who may not have otherwise had the chance to participate in them. You have choreographed the trajectory to success for generations of confident, empowered young people and instilled them with a passion for creativity and expression. The children you mentor look up to you. Their parents are grateful to you for your positivity and involvement in their lives, and your community adores you. For your dedication to young people and your commitment to uplifting Boston. Through the beautiful art of dance, we are proud to present you, Sophia Haynes Caldwell, with the 2014 Robert H. Quinn Award for Outstanding Community and Service. Ladies and gentlemen, Sophia Haynes Caldwell.
Wow. I was sitting over there at my chair, and I had to pinch myself because I couldn't believe that I was actually standing here in this room filled with so many positive people and so many people of power. It's crazy to me. And I pinched myself. I thought I was dreaming, so I had to pinch myself, and I pinched myself, and it hurt, so I wasn't dreaming. Oh boy. I'm extremely humbled by this award and grateful. And I feel that I still have such a long way to go because of Robert Quinn and so many others, the work and the legacy that they've left behind, that I still have a lot of work to do. But I thank you so much for this. Over the 21 plus years that I've been doing community work with children, with youth, I haven't done it alone. There's been so many wonderful and phenomenal people that have stood by my side to help me and to guide me and advise me and support me and pray for me. And all those people I want to thank. I want to thank my amazing and handsome husband, Mr. Deval Patrick Jr. If you look at him, he really does look like Deval Patrick, I'm telling you. It's crazy to me. And the suit really does not help you at all. I mean, really, so handsome. I want to thank my children who has sacrificed so much of their mom in order for me to reach out to so many young people. And I cannot thank you enough, Mason and Tatiana. I love you dearly. They're back there. I want to thank my dear friends, my church family who are here in the back as well, my pastors, Troy and Teresa Good. I want to thank Josh Kraft. Thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of the Boys and Girls Club. I treasure being a part of the club and my time with you, and I hope that I'll be here for many more years to come. Thank you to my boss, Nicole Stewart, for keeping me on board. Thank you, I appreciate you. I'm still working on time management, so I'm gonna keep working on that. I wanna take a moment to thank one special person. Let me go back for a minute. I wanna thank 3 people, my mentors, Hayward Fennell Jr., Sr., Curtis Warner from Berklee College of Music, and Andrea Herbert Major, my dance teacher. I remember as a child, I used to be in my room with my brush as my microphone and my towel as my wig, because I thought I was Diana Ross. And I just knew that one day I was gonna win a Grammy, or maybe one day I will, win a Peace Prize for service. Those are the 2 things that I really wanted out of life. I didn't win either one of them, but today I feel like I have with this award in my hands, so thank you. The person that I want to dedicate this award to is my mom. It's that beautiful lady back there. If you want to just wave. And my mom sacrificed her life for her family, not just her children, but her entire family. She came over here as a young person, young adult, but before that, she had to drop out of school to support her 11 brothers and sisters, to raise them. She came here to give my brother and I an opportunity that we would not have had if she hadn't come. She's from Barbados. My mother has dedicated her entire life. She spent 40 years in working for the same company. And I don't know too many people who have had that accomplishment. She worked her way up the ladder She's supervisor now, so she's in control now. She put me and my siblings through school. My sister graduated, got her master's degree from Northeastern University. Sorry, Chancellor. My brother is currently in Afghanistan. He served in the military for 18 years. And I turned out to be the one to own a business. So you did good, Mommy. You did really good. So today I'm giving this award back to you for your service, to your family, your community, your friends. And I just wanted to thank you for encouraging me and giving me all the opportunities that I thought I would never have. I respect you more than anything and anyone that I could think of. Your love and your support has driven me to do the things that I've been able to do. I love my students. I love them, all of them as if they were my own kids. And I'm proud of each and every one of them. And I didn't learn that just by learning that. I learned how to love and how to care from my mom. So I want to dedicate this award back to you and all of the children that I serve and the community that I'm so proud to be a part of. And I just thank God that I'm able to stand here today, and I hope that I can continue to be a positive role model and influence in the lives of young people every day. Thank you all so much.
Hold up. So, Mom, why don't you come on up here so we can take a picture? Come on up here, Mom.
Isn't she cute?
Oh, she sure is. Humble, too. Congratulations, congratulations, congratulations. Governor, I was just thinking, I have a little roadway problem out here. Need about $155 million. You the man. Thank you. Appreciate it. I'll get back to you and put that in writing. Ed, you're on that, right? So I came out here from Northeastern University to the peninsula. And over at Northeastern, we used to have this competition about who could dress the best. And so you would come to work every day dressed like you were going to church when you were a little kid. Best suit, all that. So then one day, I got over here and they took me across the street. And I ran into this guy. And he came up to me and he's the host with he's the man out here on this peninsula. And I looked at him and I knew it was over. All of the splendor, all of the hospitality skills, all the ability to connect with individuals, all the ability to change people's lives. That's why this year I'm glad that the Chancellor's Award for long-standing community commitment and service that recognizes individuals representing community partners who have distinguished themselves in service. I'm glad that this year is Mr. Lou Pasquale. Longtime member for Phillips Family Properties and a World War II veteran. A husband, a father, a grandfather, a great-grandfather, and hoping to be a great-great-grandfather. For generations of Dorchester and South Boston residents, Lou, you've also been their confidant, their mentor, their friend, and sometimes even their rescuer. After you were wounded in combat in Okinawa during the Second World War, you promised yourself that you would help someone every day for the rest of your life if you could only get home safely. You got home, and you've been true to your word. Closest to your heart are people with disabilities, veterans, senior citizens, and children. With your caring heart and your charismatic presence, you have devoted many years to raising money for disabled veterans. Since you began fundraising for the Massachusetts chapter of Disabled American Veterans, they've been able to purchase 19 special vans for veterans. 19 special vans. Through the unlikely sport of bowling, you have instilled the values of teamwork, responsibility, respect, and compassion in young people from difficult backgrounds. I love the fact that you call it difficult backgrounds. You don't call it what lots of other folks call it. Something that almost sounds like a mess. You understood those young people's potential, and you did something every day of your life about it. A lifelong hard worker who joined Phillips Family Enterprises in 1957. You still work hard 5 days a week at the age of 87 and looking good. 87 years old and still helping customers in any way you can and providing wise and compassionate counsel to anyone in need. Lou, you've always had a kind word for everyone you meet during your day. When I walk into Phillips, you always make me feel like that last person that just left felt. Great, just to come across you. And I'm so grateful to you for that. I always feel right at home when I'm there, when I see you. When we go over and we don't see you, because we didn't even know it was only 5 days a week. We thought you were there every day. So one of those days that you know, I'm not supposed to tell, oh yeah, he is here. Well, you're there 7 days a week, doing your thing, and every time I go there, you're there. Let's rewind that. And when I see you on campus, which you are quite regularly, we feel exactly the same. Thank you for your dedication to the community and your incredible heart. I'm delighted to present the 2014 Chancellor's Award for long-standing community commitment and service to Lou Lasquale. Come on up here, man. Yes, come here.
This is kind of tough for me because everybody knows I'm a talker and not a speaker. Is that right, Gail? But anyway, this morning, I'm kind of at a loss. But anyway, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, Chancellor Motley, all my wonderful friends at UMass, fellow honoree, Ms. Cardwell, invited family and friends. I'm happy to be the part of this tribute to the Honorable Robert H. Quinn. which I was his campaign manager in Quincy in 1974. I want to acknowledge the love and support of my wife, Terry. My daughter and son, which couldn't be here today because of snowstorms out in New York somewhere, and many special friends who are with me today. I'd also like to recognize the company I have worked with for the past 57 years, the owner and my friend, the Phillip Family Properties, Joe San Martino and families. Thank you, boss. And just a little sideline, they prolonged my life. In closing, I would like to share this quote with you by William Penn. I expect to pass through this life but once. If therefore there be any kindness I can show, or any good thing I can do for any fellow human being, let me do it now, as I shall not pass this way again. Love you. And if I may, would all my junior leaguers from 50 years ago please stand? Come on, up. Paul, Tommy, please stand. Thank you very much.
Congratulations to both of our winners. Before we all leave today, I'd like to take just a moment to thank those of you who submitted nominations for the Quinn Award. Now, deciding on winners, as you know, is never easy for the committee. I'm glad I have a committee, so that when I run into you, I can blame the committee. But keep putting in those nominations. Honoring our local heroes is so important for our university, because we're keenly aware of our role in this great city and among you, our neighbors and our friends. My sincerest thanks to you for understanding that your being here this morning matters. Your presence matters. Your presence is inspirational to us. Your presence makes a difference, and we're so grateful for that. University of Massachusetts, Boston loves to do wonderful work in our community. And you joined us here today to honor the legacy and memory of our dear friend, Robert Quinn. In the continuation of his model for service, our plan is not to ever miss a beat. You are extremely worthy of these awards, and we're so grateful for your model. You give us an opportunity to show you off to the next generation who will take all of our places and lead our efforts to do these kinds of things in our community. As the visionary leader who shepherded us, Mr. Quinn, he had this idea that came from that little bit of an idea to a reality, and continued to ensure that it remained true and that we never forget our founding mission. Just because we're getting ready to be the most beautiful campus you've ever seen in the history of this great city of Boston, doesn't mean that we're going to lose our unbelievable minds and turn our backs on those who we were designed to serve. To do that would mean that their excellence is something that is no longer acceptable for this institution, and that wouldn't be acceptable for this community, and we know that. Mr. Quinn is a central strand of the DNA of this campus, and in that DNA, we understand it, we get it, we're just hyping it up a little bit. When our founders created this institution, they wanted something that would be equal to or better than the best. And so it's our responsibility to do that every day in all that we do. And so we know you're equal to or better than the best. And so that's why we wanted all of you to be here with us today. We proudly carry your presence as Boston's only public research university, one that is public because of you. Every day we carry your legacies here. We proudly carry the presence of the Quinns and the Kenealys. So we want to lock arms with you, our community. We want to lock arms with this great city of Boston, this Commonwealth, this nation in the world, and encounter both the uncertainty and the brilliance of our future together. And with you doing that with us, look out, Boston. Look out, Commonwealth. Look out beyond the University of Massachusetts. Boston is on the move. We're no longer down in the ground. We're no longer underground. The iron is going up, so everybody's getting to know that now. You know, it gets harder when you're on page 1, because now people believe you don't have that crying story anymore. We haven't had that crying story in a while. There's always been brilliance and excellence here. Now you know it, go tell it. Now you know it, go tell it. Now you know it, go tell it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Have a wonderful day. Now, Harry, are we supposed to ask the awardees to stick around? Do we need more pictures? Okay, I'm supposed to tell you, don't leave yet. We got pictures to take. Quinn family, don't go anywhere. Kenealys, if you're in the room, don't go. We got pictures to take, all right? Okay. Governor, don't go anywhere. We got to take pictures.